community leaders occasion. For all of the things that seem impossible, God, we are believing for it. For everything that we have to lead, every challenge that we come across in the community, we believe God for it. I certainly thank you for the opportunity to introduce and present my husband and my pastor, Pastor Karl Wilkins. I certainly won't belabor the time in reading the bio. It's there for you to see all of the accomplishments and accolades and things that he has done. But one of the things, we always had a running joke, he and I, that I said, I am not Coretta Scott King. Listen, I did not marry Martin Luther King. That is not me. I'm not built for that life. But one of the things that I have learned on this journey with him of 15 years, that his heart for community is so large. And you can't help but spend time with him. And your heart grows for community. Your love for community grows. And so I am thankful for the gift of his heart. I believe that he was called for such a time as this. And the song really kind of puts me in remembrance of him, because some of the things that he comes up with, I'm saying, Pastor Karl, we can't do that. But he believes for the impossible. And God shows up every time. So I just believe today that you are going to leave here inspired, encouraged, and that your heart is going to be set ablaze to go out and believe for the impossible. And not just believe for it, but see God show up and for you to do the impossible. So I present to all of us here today, Pastor Karl Wilkins Sr.
Show y'all that I still got a little bit of youth in me. So again, I just kind of hopped up on the stage, with a little suit on. But look, I am extremely grateful for this opportunity to be here today. What a marvelous God that we serve. We serve a marvelous God. He is doing marvelous things in the universe. Also wanted to thank my beautiful wife for that beautiful introduction. And yes, she constantly reminds me that she is not Coretta Scott King. And I didn't tell her that Martin Luther King wasn't the only one that had a dream. So you won't be the Coretta Scott King, but you'll be the Jessica Lynch Wilkins. Also, look, I'm just so honored, y'all, and privileged to be standing here today. And I say that because Lisa Burrell, she knows a million people. And for her to go through the Rolodex of her calling and to be able to pull my name and say, hey, Pastor Karl, will you be the keynote speaker at our leadership conference? How can you say no to somebody such as her? Yeah. So again, Lisa, I am indebted to you, and I thank you for the privilege of being able to stand here today. I won't be before you long, and we already know that they say preachers, they got 5 to 6 doors on their sermon. But today, I just wanted to do something a bit different, and definitely want to thank my church family for being here with me on this day. I would have never thought. I would have never thought, y'all, in my wildest dreams, that one day, little boy from Jericho will be actually standing in a Hilton Gardens conference on a platform that I had nothing to do with, speaking to a group of people that I know very little about. But it goes to show that God has a plan.
That's right.
Starting out, born and raised over in Jericho. Some of you may know this, my father. He was a community activist. I did not know that at the time. At the age of 5 or 6 years old, he would come and wake me and my brothers up, and he would get us up and he would take trash bags, and we would have to go and walk through the neighborhood of picking up beer cans and beer bottles, things that were thrown in the ditch, something that I had nothing to do with. And my dad would force me and my brothers to get down in the ditch to pick up beer cans and trash cans and all of that stuff. And then afterwards, he would take us to the backyard where he had went out and bought some crabs. He was steaming crabs, and he would have us to walk through the neighborhood, going door to door, selling crabs. Now, I was an angry 5 and 6 year old. I wanted to stay home and watch the Wonder Twins. I wanted to stay home, and watch, all the great cartoons, But he had another plan, God had another plan. But being raised 5 years from him, I remember playing on the railroad tracks, and I'm only playing on the railroad tracks, but every now and then, I would find myself jumping in the ditch. And then sometimes, you don't always land where you anticipate. Sometimes you land in the ditch. So we would also, jump the ditch and we would go around raking yards for $2 and didn't know that God was doing something. And I recall, being a trouble kid, I always stayed on punishment. So this anger kind of like dwelled in me as a little boy. And when my mom and dad would go to work, in the morning time, he would leave my 2 brothers at home, and we would get to arguing over who wore the socks and who wore the pants. No, you wore that shirt yesterday. And I would get mad, and I ended up pushing one of them through the wall. Now, I knew nothing about construction at that time, but I knew that when my dad came home, somebody had to answer for the hole that was in the wall. And of course, my name was the first name to be called, so I found myself not only on punishment, but I ended up getting a beating for that. And I had to stay in my room for a vast amount of time. Well, during my time in the room, I began to, develop this sense of attitude, that when I get older, I wanted to kind of like pay everybody back for what they did to me. So that was a request that I wanted to do. And it was crazy. What I'm about to say is crazy. I wanted to go to jail. That's what my anger was. I wanted to go to jail, but I was no boy. And I wanted to grow up and go to jail because I saw guys come home and they was kind of bucks. So I thought that was the place that you go to get bucks. I would come back and I would be every last one of them back in the situation. But anyway, during that time, I didn't know that God was actually doing something. He was isolating me. He put me in a room, and I couldn't come out of the room, and that was my jail in a sense. And my dad had a bag of clippers that nobody was allowed to have. But since he wasn't home and my mom was on the front porch, I'm a little kid, so I go break the line, I go to the edge of my door, and then I kind of like hit that and come on back, ain't nothing happening, so I go a little further. But anyway, I ended up going into his room with the bag of clippers, and I began to dissect the clippers. I began to, start taking them apart and all that. Didn't know that God was doing something in the midst of that, So again, on my journey, then I started going to the barbershop. This is when we started to take off a little bit, y'all. I started going to the barbershop. And when I would go to the barbershop, I grew up in a generation where grown folks are talking, you kind of like lay low, you don't say anything. So going to the barbershop, it was Lafayette Barbershop. And in that day that I went there, I had some community leaders there. I had Johnny Ed was there. I think it was Acid Baker that was there. It was Harvey Clark that was there. And I was just sitting in the chair, and the guys was having a conversation. They was having a dialogue about whether leaders were made or raised. And I didn't know much about leaders or anything like that. I just kind of like sit. So the question became, even in my day and time, the question is, are leaders born? Are people born to be leaders, or are they made or raised to be leaders? And that question still kind of like stands here because nobody knows the answer. So I kind of Googled it, right? And then there was this guy by the name of Thomas Carlyle. Thomas Karl. Yeah, y'all don't know, I didn't know him either. But look, it says that he popularized the great man theory. The great man theory that suggests that leadership traits are intrinsic. Now, I didn't know what the word intrinsic means, but following that, they kind of explained it to me. They said intrinsic means that the great leaders are born, and they will emerge when confronted with the appropriate situation. That says something right there. Yeah. That's a leader in some of us. It just has not conformed because you have not been approached or confronted with the right situation. I believe God has given all of us with some type of leadership ability and some type of influence. But what's crazy about it is that I don't know if they are born or if they are raised. But all I know in the day and time that we live in there, they need it. That's it. Look at your neighbor and say, yeah, they need it. I don't know if they were born, if they made it, I don't know. All I know is that leaders are needed in this day and time. Look, being a model for 32 years, y'all, I have learned to push clippers for a living. But to tell you, look, if you would just permit me, I don't want to push slippers. All I want to do is I just want to push a thought. That's all I want to do. I want to push a thought. I ain't trying to do no fades. I ain't trying to do no temper tables. All I'm trying to do is ruin your mind. I'm hoping that when you leave that door, that your mind is thinking different. Didn't know that God was actually doing something, y'all, when I was out there cleaning the ditches, you know, and when I was sitting there and the psalmist came up and sung the first song, I heard God say these words, it was in the ditch, it was in the ditch. He says, I got you out of the ditch, I got you out of the ditch. See, leaders are made in the ditch, but I didn't know that at that time. See, it's the low places where God finds us. It's the low places where leaders are made. He says, I made you in the ditch, and then I brought you out of the ditch, and I put you in a classroom, and I taught you how to cut hair. He said, you had no idea that why I had to put you in a room to teach you how to cut hair. He said, because one day in the year 2022, on October the 16th, you will be standing up in the conference room. He says, all of these people in here, he says, I want you to see them as if they're clients in the barbershop, waiting to get rude. He says, I'm teaching you how to be a groom. He said, I was teaching you that all along. He said, I'm doing something that's so profound. He said, so if you really want to know if leaders are made or raised, he says, they're actually both. They're actually both are made leaders and are raised leaders. He says, there are some leaders that are being raised up in this generation. He says, you just so happen to be one. But look, this is what he told me. This is what he told me, y'all. This is what he told me, y'all. So he just indulged me. He said, I want you to go to the conference center. And he is so strategic about everything that he does. He said, it's not just that we're here at the Hilton Garden Hotel. He said, I want you to be able to see what he's doing since he's the orchestrator of the universe. Because he did create a garden. And everybody knows that God created a garden. There's a place where we're supposed to blossom. There's a place where we're supposed to produce. So God called leaders into the conference room. Why? Because he wanted to confer. He wanted to talk. He got something to say to the leaders. Because what he's about to do in this season here, he says, I need leaders. I need leaders. I don't need no saints. I don't need no Christians. I need leaders. He said, I want you to tag this moment, Karl. Go there and tag them. This is the question that's been asked. Are leaders made or are they raised? He said, I want you to talk about the markings of a leader. The markings of a leader. There are more than one marking of a leader. You can tell a leader in their early age by markings. But we just don't know what to look for when we see them. We think a troubled kid that comes to school that's having a bad day. The teacher said, no, he's not having a bad day. He's not giving you a bad day. He's having a bad day. But God says it's the marking of a leader. He says, Karl, I got you out of the ditch. But I got to get this one out of a hellistic environment. He said, because the hardship that person is having, he says, it's a marking of a leader. And then God just gave me 4 things. So you just allow me to give you the 4 things that God gave me that we can start looking for when we go out and stop tagging little kids or our youth as if they're troubled kids. What if they're not troubled kids? What if God is developing them in their hardships and we just can't process it or comprehend what it is that they're doing? Because they're living in a day and time where they're dealing with stuff that we had nothing to do. We probably couldn't even do it. We got young people. We just saw it on the news, just heard it on the news. A 15-year-old in Raleigh just went through the streets, just started shooting, killing people. What was in his life? They're dealing with stuff that we have no idea of what we do. We sit on the sideline and we say they're doing this and their pants are low and they're doing all of this kind of stuff. But God said it's the marking of the leader. Look, he gave me 4 things, right? 4 things, right? That's right. The first marking is, he says, leaders cover. If you are considered a leader in this room, there is a responsibility that God requires of us. He said that leaders cover. I recall cutting hair in my room, and this is what I love about it. God was teaching me something even when I didn't even know he was teaching. I would go back to my room after I left Lafayette Barbershop, and being that I'm a visual learner, and I like to duplicate what I see. I didn't have a cutting cloth at home, so what I had to do was I had to get a sheet from off the bed. And back then, I would get the sheet off the bed, not off the bed, but I would go into wherever we had it in my mom's room, and I would get the sheet and I would throw it across my brother. And being that I didn't have a neck clip, I would go outside to the clothesline and had the 2 little pieces of little bell in the middle, and you had to pinch it together, and the clothes bin was so big, it was sticking in the back of my brother's shirt. But God was teaching me vicariously. He said, son, you're going to be a leader one day, and the first thing I got to teach you how to do, and I'm going to teach you through Bible. He said, I'm going to teach you that first you got to learn how to cover people. There's nobody in here that goes to the beauty salon or goes to the barber shop and the barber don't cover you first. See, that's our responsibility. My job, he was marketing a leader. He said, son, I'm going to teach you how to cover people. I'm going to teach you how to protect people. I'm going to teach you how to guard people. He said, that's the marketing of a leader. He said, I'm going to teach you how to cover people. And then I ended up going to barber school, y'all. I ended up going to barber school with the Daniels Barber College. That thing went out because I had check children all across the city. I had to drop out because child support was running me down. And then I left barber school. Then I ended up going to the Suffolk Beauty Academy. Stayed there for about 3 months. Had to leave there. Then I ended up going to Wilkins Barber Shop. It's like God was taking me on this prophetic journey that I went through all of them. He said, the kind of leader you're going to be, I need for you not only to go to barber school, I need for you to go to beauty school. I need for you to go to the apprenticeship program. I need for you to go through all of that because the marketing of a leader is on you. So he says right here, y'all, he says, then on top of that, then I'm going to allow you to meet somebody. I'm going to allow you to meet a man. I'm going somewhere, y'all. I'm going somewhere. He says, I'm allowing you to meet a man. He's much older than you. He's much skilled than you. He's much more knowledgeable than you. But I'm going to allow you to develop a relationship with him. So I ended up going to his house 2 weeks ago, y'all. I'm 50 years old, and I have been knowing about him for about 30 years. I finally ended up going to his house about 2 weeks ago. And when I went there, we got to talking. He said, man, I see all the things that you're doing in the community, and I like what you're doing in the community. Look, let me know what you're doing, so that I can be a part of it. So I said, sure, I'll let you know what I'm doing. I told him what we was doing and all of that. But before I left, I said, sir, before you leave, I said, you retired? He said, no, I work for state board there. I sit on the board of the barber department. I said, man, I would love to be able to sit on the board, because I want to just kind of like move all the way through the industry. And once I work for state board, I'm going to officially retire. But I got all the way to the door, got almost to the end of the door. I turned around and I said, sir, I would love to have a white jacket. I would love to have a white jacket. Why did I say that? The man went to his closet, got a white jacket on, and then told me to hold my hands up. And guess what he did, y'all? He covered me. See, the market of the people, he covered me. See, it's going to take us to be able to pass this down to the next generation because he is the generation that's before me. And not only did he cover me, y'all, look, I got to tell you this. Look, he said, turn around for a second. Which leads to my second point. He says, leaders, the market of the leaders that the leader covers. The question is, who are you covering? Who are you covering? You got to ask yourself that, who am I covering? Who am I covering? But look, then he turned around and told him, he says, God told him the second thing. He says, leaders charge. Okay. Brother put a white jacket on. Somewhere in my mind, I always wanted to go back to school to get into this doctoral program. Now, I don't like school. I got to be honest with you. I don't like school, but I can't deny the fact that there's something in me that says I want to be a doctor. Yeah. But I don't just want to be a doctor to have a title, and I don't do anything with that. Yeah. So he turns around and put a white jacket on me. And then when I put the white jacket on, he charged me. See, next thing is that leaders charge. Yeah. He turned me around, and he said something to me. He said, what I want you to do is when you go to barber school, when you go back to Ashley Normal High School, he said, what I want you to do is I want you to wear the jacket every day. He says, I want you to put your necktie on. He says, I want you to bring the standard of being a barber back up to where it needs to be. Because if you walk into the average barber shop, they got scrubs on, they got shorts on, they got all kinds of things on, food on the station. He started giving me a charge. That's my next point. My next point is that God has given all of us a charge. Yes. But what are you saying to the next generation? What is coming out of your mouth that you're saying to the next generation? Because it is our responsibility to help shape and to help mold the next generation into being who God called them to be. So he says, God, not only will a leader cover, but a leader charge. But look, this is what I love about it, y'all. This is what I love about it. He says, we live in a time where everything around us is evolving. You can see it. The houses that my dad lived in. They don't live in those houses. They're beautiful houses. The buildings that are being made. They ain't making them like they made them in 1969. Everything is evolving. Everything is changing. Yeah. But the leaders are still staying the same. We got the same mindset. We dress the same. In fact, we want this generation to act like us in our generation. And God's like, no, you got to evolve. If you're going to be a leader, Karl, you got to evolve. Can't y'all see me? Look, you see me with my sneakers on. I ain't doing this for you. I'm doing this because I'm going after the next generation. God called me to be a fisherman of men. And if you're going to catch the next generation, you're going to have to get out of the Henry Freeman suit. And you're going to have to put you some jeans with the snatches on. You're going to have to get you some ribs. If you're planning on catching the next generation, because when they look at you with that Henry Freeman suit on, and you got them head and them blue and white stations, they're looking at you like, no, something else. And most of us, we don't want to change. We want the environment to change for us, but you don't want to change. I've learned that, Karl, you're an environment changer. You're an environment shifter. You can walk anywhere to change the atmosphere. You just don't change hairstyle. You change personality. You change mindset. You change outlook. You change perspective. He says, can't you see what I'm doing with you? He said, I took you out of the classroom. I took you out of the barbershop and placed you in front of a classroom, in front of 25 young men who don't have fathers. Why? Because I want you to cover them. I want you to talk to them. I want you to protect them. I want you to guard them. I want you to groom them into being who it is. They are the marking of leaders. He said, but not just that, I want you to charge them. He said, I want you to say something to them. He says, I want you to say something to him. He turned me around and he told me, he said, I want you to wear this jacket. And when you go to work, he said, I want you to wear a necktie. So I went to work the next day, Janelle, and I had my necktie on. And my student said, Mr. Wilkins, where are you going? I love that question. Because when you dress up and you change your style and you evolve into something else, people start asking questions. What you got going on? Why you dressed like that? Why you doing that? So again, it opened up doors for me to explain that to them. But look, here's my third point, because I want to make sure that I finish my time and all of that stuff, So my presentation might not be all that pretty, but look, I just want to get it out because I ain't got a whole lot of time. One of the things I've learned from my bishop is that if they give you 30 minutes, he says you want to finish up in 28 minutes. So during my initial sermon, I kind of like wanted to kind of like come close to the edge, you know what I mean? They gave us a certain amount of time, and my time went over. I wasn't really looking at the clock, and when it was all over, the lady that was over at MIT, she came to me and she said, I need you to write a 25-page paper on time. What she was trying to do, she was trying to help develop me. Because they saw the marking of a leader. And if you're going to be speaking to somebody, you got to be valuable or mindful of somebody's time. You can't be wasting nobody's time. So not only do you have to cover them, not only do you have to charge them, he says, but also a leader costs. Ooh, that says something right there. Don't you know being a leader in this day and time, it's expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive. There are things that you have to change, things that you have to do. He said it's expensive to be a leader. Leaders are hard to find in this day and time. You don't see Malcolm X no more. You don't see Dr. Martin Luther King no more. You don't see that standard of leadership no more. In fact, we live in a time now where it's hard to find a leader. And this is what I love to ask the guys in school. I said, man, look, it's easy to find out who is the leader on the basketball team. Anybody can identify that. Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. It's normally the person who scores the most points. Or it's easy to find the person on the football field. He said it's easy to find that. But how do you find the leader in the middle of a haystack? If the room was cold today, the question was asked, who is the leader in here? Who is the one that God has assigned? Who is the one that the people are saying that is the leader? Can the youth identify who the leader is? This is what I love about it. When we go to our personal churches, we don't have no problem identifying who the leader is. It's the pastor. It's the pastor. Nobody has a problem identifying who the leader is. But when it comes to the youth, ask the youth, who is the youth leader? Who is the youth leader? Who is the person that the youth would say, that's my leader? The reason why they are misguided because they don't know who their leader is. They don't know who their leader is. Until we start praying, asking God to raise up a leader for them. Because it's a shame for you to have a leader and they can't identify who their leader is. But yet we want their leader, our leader, to be their leader. That ain't the way God got this orchestrated. God said, I got a leader for them as well. You got to find out who the leader is. He said, the leadership costs. And anybody can't be a leader. It's about those who are willing to make a sacrifice. That's why leadership is expensive. See, everybody ain't willing to make a sacrifice. Because sacrifice costs. But we have a leader in the name of Jesus Christ. He said, I'll be the leader. He said, I'll cover them all. He said that once I go to Calvary, I'll leave a charge to all of them. Telling all of y'all to go ye into the world and baptize in the name of the Father and the Holy Ghost. He said, I'm the greatest leader that there is. I'm a maker of leaders. It's right here, y'all. It's right here. He said, so not only do leaders cover, he said, not only do leaders charge, he said, not only do leaders cost. God gave me an assignment, y'all. He gave me an assignment. I'm going to tell you what the assignment is. God told me, he says, I'm going to call you to this generation because one of the things I've learned as a pastor, I am called to the next generation of believers. Now, Bishop Kim Brown is called to the second dimensional believe. Which means that those who have been in traditional church and have gotten tired of traditional church and they want something different. Well, they go to Bishop Kim Brown's church because he's saying, you know what? God has raised me up to think outside of the box. So I'm called to the second dimensional believer, which means that there's another dimension in your faith. You just got to find it. Well, I ain't called to the second dimensional believer. I'm called to the next generational believer. I'm called to the young people, those who don't even have a faith. They don't even know God. And I believe God called me and shaped me and molded me and put me not only in front of a classroom. He said, son, that's why your church is at King Park High School. Can't you see I'm keeping you in front of the youth? Because I want them to be able to identify who their leader is. He said it comes with a cost. It comes with a price. Look, God gave me this assignment, right? We just took 200 young men to the African American History Museum from 6 different high schools in 2 different cities. Don't tell them. Last year before that, we took them to an NFL game. Why? Because a lot of them don't have father figures. Every kid that plays football, their desire is to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of them will never ever go to the NFL because one, they don't have the funds, two, they don't have the capacity to believe that they can go. So God raised up a preacher that says, you know what, take them to where they're trying to go. Take them to where they're trying to go. So what I did was busy working in the barbershop and I'm connected to the community. See, all of that was part of God's doing as far as the marking of a leader. He says, I'm going to put you in the barbershop because with the barbershop, you're going to be connected to all kinds of people. He said, the greatest thing that I can give you is not their money. The greatest thing that I can give you is their ear. What are you going to do with their ear while they're in the barbershop? What are you going to say to them? What are you going to charge them? Are you going to make their minds better? You going to make their minds sharper? Or you going to talk about how many points the Kobe scored? How many points the Steph Curry scored? What does that have to do with changing the society? He said, the mantle that I placed on you, I called you in the season not to change hairstyle. I called you to change culture. I called you to change minds. I called you to change the community. He said, I'm trying to raise up leaders to do something totally different. But here is the plan. God told me this. Working at IC Northwood High School, the football team, a lot of them don't have kids, don't have dads. He's on drugs, dead, locked up, whatever. The coach had made a clarion call that on our first away game, I want y'all to wear shirt and ties. Well, since my room is the barbershop, and everybody likes to hang at the barbershop, I got PlayStations in the barbershop. Everybody wants to be in my classroom. It's not because I am such a great barber. It's because when I go there, I create an atmosphere for the Spirit of God to come in there, and they have no idea what the draw is, what the draw is, what the draw is. And they come in there and they're playing video games. While they're playing video games, I got 4 points up on the board. Markings of a leader. Guys, I know y'all playing PlayStation, but look, I want to talk to you about the markings of a leader because look, all of y'all are leaders. Y'all know the football team. I said the coach has made a clarion call that he wants y'all to dress up. Well, they came in with checkered shirts on, some of them had on polo shirts, and they had on neckties. And I'm saying, man, that just doesn't look right. That ain't good. God put a charge on me. He said, son, what I want you to do is I want you to go out and I want you to buy church shirts for all the boys. So me and my wife, we got in the car and we went to every Walmart in 3 cities, buying out all of the white church shirts. Got the white church shirt home. My wife said, you just can't get them a shirt. She said, get them maroon necktie, bow tie. So she ordered maroon bow ties. I went to the coach and told the coach, I said, man, look, God told me, man, that he wanted them to represent them, man. I said, he wanted them to represent them. God laid on my heart to get shirts. I put all of the shirts in the barbershop and I laid them out. The boys come marching in my classroom, taking their shirts off, t-shirts with cartoons on the front. Taking them out. I said, man, look, you can't wear that like that. Flip that shirt over. I said, because all of that is showing on the outside. See, that's what happens, y'all. There's a thing, I'm telling you, there's something that we can try to cover up. But
Come on, sir. Come on, sir.
I said, man, look where God trying to take you. You got to take that shirt off. And you got to flip it over. God trying to hide some stuff. He's trying to remind you that there's a marking of the leader that's on you. So they flip the shirts over. And then all of them sitting up there taking the shirt right out the pack. And the shirts are wrinkled. But they don't care about that. So I'm making up stuff as we go along. So man, look, don't even worry about the iron, man. I said, look, the heat from your body. It's going to cause the wrinkles to fall out by the time class is over. When I look around, I get my cell phone. I had about 29 young men in my classroom with their shirts off, putting shirts on. I had a police officer from
from the bottom floor, coming up, putting neckties. God said, son, can't you see what I'm doing? He said, you talking about changing the culture. He said, do what I tell you to do. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about anything else. Just believe by faith that I'm doing something. Get in your car. Go to Walmart and all. Go to Walmart and walk through. Go to Walmart and tell them, got every shirt that you find on the list. So I buy all the shirts. Tell the coach, all the kids come to my classroom. And then God, the Holy Spirit, brings back to my remembrance me going to the barber's house. And the barber tells me to turn around. And he drank with a coat on me. And God said, he said, you thought that was just it? He said, I just don't want to put a shirt on you. He said, it would be an insult for me to put a coat on you and you don't put a coat on them. I said, God, well, what you mean by that? He said, what I want you to do now is, he said, I want you to go and I want you to find some collegiate jackets. He said, I want you to go and find some collegiate jackets. I said, God, what are collegiate jackets? He said, you know the jackets that the prestige colleges wear, and they got on the blazers, and they got the little envelope on the side. He said, I want you to go and find some jackets. So what I did was, I went back to my community. Being I work at the barbershop, and I know the men, I said, hey man, look, I got 25 guys. 25 guys, man. 50 guys on the football team. I said, man, look, if we're going to change the culture, I said, man, it would be amazing if I can get 50 men who would sponsor one kid and buy him a jacket. I said, no, what happens is that now God is giving you the opportunity to be a part of something that He doing. Because all that money that you're making, all the livers that you're saying you work 40 hours overtime, all that $100,000 a year, God will take an assessment and say, how much of that did you give back to me? How much of that did you give back to me? Yeah, I know you paid your time, and I know you paid your offering, but to be a market of a leader, it costs. He said, so what I want you to do, Karl, go and find some collegiate jackets. So what I did was, I got on the phone. I started looking for men. And I said, man, I'm trying to find 50 men who would sponsor at least one kid. One kid. Oh, he said me. Check this out. Check this out. We're going somewhere, y'all. I'm almost done. He says, find 50 men to sponsor one kid. So I get on the phone, and I go to the baddest store that most men like to go to. Go to Philip Michaels. Call up to Philip Michaels with a feel like this. They already know who I am. They're like, Pastor Karl, what you doing now? I said, man, look, God gave me this charge, man. I said, man, look, we're going to change the culture of our generation, man. Look, God wants us to put something on the board, and our job as a leader is to cover the next generation. Yeah. And I said, man, look, I need to find out how much does it cost to get 50 burgundy jackets, and I'm going to take them and have them embroidered. And so he gave me a number. And then when I walked out, somebody called me and said, Pastor Karl, why are you minimizing God?
Say so.
I said, what you mean? I said, I don't have the money for these 50 jackets. They said, it's why are you minimizing God? You just took 6 high school football teams to the NFL game. He said, what if God? She said, what if God wanted to do all 6 schools? I'm like, ooh. See, God trying to stretch our faith. Just because I don't have the funds to do it, it doesn't mean that He don't have the funds. He said, all I need for you to do is just speak it out. I'll touch the heart of man, and they will know whether to come aboard. He said, all I need you to do is throw it out. So I'm just kind of like throwing it out in this atmosphere. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go. All I know is that God got me out of the ditch. All I know is God got me out of the ditch. Tell somebody to say, God got us out of the ditch. And if God got out of the ditch, He'll get you out of what you're going through too. And He'll turn around and use you as a testimony. So what I did was, look, I told the guy at Philip Michaels, I said, man, look, I know you've been a good salesman and all that, but man, look, I don't want to talk to you, man. I want to talk to the owner of Philip Michaels, because I want to see if Philip Michaels would partner up himself, because if he was to do the math and find out how many Caucasians go to his school, his store and buy his clothes, and how many African Americans, I said, it'll outlive the African Americans, because probably about 95%. I could be hyperbole, I don't know if I said that right or not. I could be kind of like, going beyond what I'm saying, but I know it's a whole lot of African Americans that go there and and buy those expensive suits and those tuxedos and all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I wanted to step to him and say, hey man, look, this is what I believe God doing, man. And I think God gave you an opportunity. Well, I made the phone call. I was scared to call him, Janelle, because I ain't never did business on that level, with a millionaire. So I called him, stood up with my confidence that God gave me. Hey, sir, this is Dr. Karl from Mount Suffolk. Look, thank you for your time. I just want to be able to learn something about you to see if you're interested in helping us to cover the next generation. I said, as you all know, the crime rate in Suffolk enforcement is on an all-time high. I said, sir, I believe God has placed something in my heart to help cover the next generation. I'm trying to buy, I threw a number on y'all. I said, I'm trying to buy 200 jackets that I can cover 6 high schools. But that's what I do. I cover. He says, son, I taught you how to cover. He says, I'm trying to buy 200 jackets. He says, well, what kind of partnership you talking about? So he tried to click dumb on me, right, y'all? Partnership. But I ain't rather have a little death. It's still a partnership. It's like a divine exchange, You do this for me, I do that for you. Let's do this thing together. So he told me, well, I've already did my partnership. He said, I already brought the coach down to a certain amount. He said, I said, okay, I appreciate that, sir. I ain't want to insult him. I said, I appreciate that. I said, well, sir, I got one more final request, if you could. I said, look, on the day that we get the jackets, I said, can you personally come to the school and be in the midst of measuring the guys and, just so that we can photo op. I want to show the community that buys your clothes that you are an active participant in what you do. I said, that's a great marketing strategy for you right there, sir. Can you imagine you feel like Michael being in a room with about 150 guys and you and your fabric and all of that kind of stuff there? I know he on the other side beating his chest. Yeah, Pastor Karl. Yeah, you're right about that, Pastor Karl. So then he turned around before we ended. He says, man, I like the way you do business. He said, what I'm going to do is, I know I gave you one price, but I'm going to take the price down. See, if you do what it is that God tells you to do, and God is going to mark you on the people. He said, son, can you see that there's a mark on you? All I need for you to do is do what I asked you to do. The same as he put a mark on me, there's a mark on you, sir. And here's the thing, nobody can see the mark. Only God can see the mark. But I came here to tell you, there's a mark on you.
Yeah.
There's a mark on you. And there's a mark on you. There's a mark on you. There's a mark on you. God has placed a mark on you. He said that I'm going to change the world. Jesus did it with 12. Imagine if I could take this room.
My God.
Leave out of here and start doing what it is I'm asking him to do. He said, then you will see the hand of the Lord. Whoa.
God.
He said, leadership comes with a cost. Here's the other thing, y'all. He says, not only the marking of the leader, he covers. So if you want to see if the market is on you, look at who you cover. If you ain't covering nobody, you got to make some adjustments. Because you ain't living up to the expectations that God has placed on you. Then once you do that, then you got to get a charge. Somebody got to charge. Somebody got to charge. The man charged me. He says, go back and put your coat on. Go back and put a necktie on. He says, go back and I want you to be considerate. He says, I'm going to do my best to try to get you on the state board. I can see myself there, y'all, on the state board. From Jericho, boy, they ain't even going to understand. They ain't even going to understand. And then look, it didn't stop there. And I know I got to get ready to go, y'all. He said, but once I get out of the state board, I want my picture in the next book that comes out. And that's okay, the best barber. I want them to say, you know what, this preacher, this pastor, whatever he is, he came in and changed the culture. He did something that nobody was able to do. So, here's this team. So not only do a leader cover, not only do a leader charge, not only do a leader cost, but a leader contributes. If you're going to be a leader, you got to contribute. Everybody in here, the last that check, being that breath is still in our body, and God has blessed us here, he said, oh, you might not have any money in the bank, but you got something to contribute.
That's right.
There's no more than your presence.
That's
There's
right.
no more than your prayers.
That's
There's
right.
no more than your participation. He said, there is something that you can contribute to mankind. One man put it this way. He said, you should be ashamed today if you have not done some type of contribution to humanity. Oh, I just said something. Some of us, we should be ashamed today without leaving some type of contribution to humanity. In other words, what that means, how did you leave your earth realm when you left? Did you leave your earth realm better? Did you leave your neighborhood better? Did you leave your family better? Did you leave you better? You got to do something different. You got to evolve if you're going to catch up with what God is doing. And I believe God is releasing to this room. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to cover the next generation. And all I need is partnership. He said, it ain't about church. It ain't about sororities. It ain't about fraternity. It's about partnering up with me. Because I'm trying to make leaders I'm trying to secure the future of the next generation. And here's my last one, y'all. This is free. He said, not only that, he said, leaders command. This is it, and I'm out of time. That's my last goal on this sermon. But last night, I had the opportunity to go to the Kings for Oscar Smith game. And look, it was packed out there, y'all. It was extremely packed. I'm walking with mouth full of chicken because I didn't want to go to the concession stand and get to the gate. And I tell them, I said, which store do I go to? I paid for my ticket online. But soon as I walk, if we was in church, I would say, look at your neighbor and say, soon as you walk. Soon as you walk. Soon as I walked into the arena, soon as I stepped on the other side of that gate, me and KJ took about 10 steps and they was holding off the band. The band came walking right in front of me. And I had a good seat. I had a good standing view. It was right here. Didn't know that God was teaching me a lesson. So I'm sitting there watching them. I'm just sitting there watching them march. Just watching them march. They swinging the instrument. And then I turn around and look, and my eyes is captured on one man. I love bands. I love the horn. I love the flags. I love the drums. I love the dance girls. I love all of that. But tonight, last night, one thing caught my attention. I see the drum major. And the drum major, he's there marching. And then he does something. And when he did that, the two that was in front of him, on his command, he made a turn. God was teaching me something right there. He said, God, let me tell you something, Karl. He said, the marking of a leader is that a leader can command. He can give direction. He can give guidance. He said, it's not like a coincidence that I had him standing right here. He said, what the world needs is not that pastor. The world needs, the youth needs, they need drum majors. He said, they need drum majors. He said, boy, you are not just a preacher. He said, you are a drum major. He said, I'm putting you in front of the band. Can't you see it? You just took 200 young boys to the Black History Museum. He said, now you get ready to put robes on. He said, well, can't you see what I'm doing? He said, I'm doing something bigger than what you can imagine. I'm raising up an army who is willing to follow my command. Wherever you tell them to go, they will go. Whatever you tell them to do, they will do. Why? Because they found their drum major. They found their leader. They found their guide. They will navigate them to where God wanted them to be. Whoa! He said, this generation needs a drum major. So November the 5th, at the next band competition, you're going to find Pastor Karl out on the football field with a baton. I tried to set y'all up. I tried to go on Amazon and buy 150 batons so that when you leave here, you would leave here knowing I'm just not your ordinary leader. God told me what he was looking for. God told me he needed drum major. Can you imagine all of us walking out of here and we walking out here like this right here? The world would want to know what in the world is going on. God says to be in my band, you got to learn to march to the beat of my drum. Oh, that's what we're doing. Until you learn to march to the beat of my drum, you will not go anywhere. Why? Because these are the marchings of the leader. I put leadership on you. And that's when I thought it was done. I said, God, I'm nervous about going to this prayer breakfast. I said, I don't even know what it is. All I know is a leadership conference. I said, God, I'm nervous about going and sharing with them what you placed in my heart. He said, but don't worry about that. I get on 58. Just when I thought it was over, Janelle, I get on 58. And the traffic is starting to back up. God is strategic. It backs up in front of the airport. So God is really letting me know we ain't moving until you go where I'm directing. So I get out of the line and I go to the airport. As I'm going to the airport, I see this vision of these football players surrounded by a jet. I see some of them acting like they boarding the jet. I get out of the car. God said, I want you to go inside and ask whoever's in charge of the airport, what are the chances of the football team just surrounding the airport? Because I need them to see that not only am I clothing them, I'm dressing them, but I'm preparing to take them from them. want you to do is a photo shoot. Take a photo of the football players around the jet. Some of them acting like they're getting on the jet. And then tell them that I desire to take them somewhere. But they're not going to be able to go on the trip if they don't have a vision. See, they got to be shown what possibility is.
Yes.
He says when you take them to the NFL game, he says don't take them to the Ravens game. He says don't take them to the Carolina Panthers game. All three of them are 3 hours away. He says take them to FedEx Field. He says take them where they're trying to go, which is the NFL. They trying to go there. He said, but they don't know that I'm strategic. I'm taking them to FedEx Field. If anybody knows anything about FedEx, FedEx delivers. God said that they don't know that I'm trying to deliver them. He says, can't you see that Moses took the children of Israel from out of Egypt to Canaan? He says, Karl, can't you see that you've taken them out of Suffolk and out of Portsmouth to Canaan? I'm trying to take them to the promised land. And then go back and tell them, hey guys, listen up. The reason why y'all are here at FedEx Field, God is trying to deliver you. He's trying to deliver you from that environment that you're in. And he said, if you live like he tells you to live, he promised you, he'll take you to the promised land. He ain't gonna make you rich just so that you can have the money and not business and theology. He said he wants to give you the money so that you can do what he tells you to do with it. But you got to live like he tells you to live. No more smoking weed, no more looking at porn, no more all this crazy stuff.
That's right.
My last prophetic revelation. Play it out. Play it out. God want to use you. Yeah. Philip Michaels told me, he says, I'll let you get the jacket for $75. $75. So I said, okay. I said, it's over 800,000 people in the 7 cities, if not more. I said, man, I know it's 200 people out of 800,000 that will hear God's heart.
Yeah.
And say, God, $75 will put a jacket on a young man. And God said, I give you the opportunity to buy the jacket. I'm going to give you the money. And when you get the jacket, the marking of leadership is on you. Put the jacket on him, turn him around, and charge him.
Yeah.
I charge you to go to school and make good grades. I charge you to respect your mother. What gives me the right to say this? I'm invested in you.
Yeah.
I invested my money. I believe you. Now it gives you the right to speak to the next generation. The problem is that some of us trying to speak to the next generation without investing in it.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, you can't tell me nothing. I'm trying to hear what you got to say. You know my living environment. You ain't trying to help me, but yet you gonna tell me I need to pull my pants up. I ain't seen you go out and try to buy me real pants, and you gonna try to tell me what to do until you become invested in my future. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say until you contribute to my hardship.
That's good.
30 seconds.
That's good.
The $75 that will be put on one guy, he don't get to keep it. When the season is over, he takes it off. And he turns around and covers the person that's coming behind. So your $75 is going from generation
Yes.
to next year.
Yes. That's good.
Next year. All behind $75. $75 will bless 10 generations.
That's good.
Then when we go to heaven and stand before God, God says, well done. Thou good and faithful servant. You ain't do everything I asked you to do, but you've been faithful over a few things. I'll consider the time that you bought the jacket. Come on up. in the same jacket you put on them. Get the robe. Get the robe. Y'all walk around with heaven. No one but feels like. Can you imagine them young boys putting the jackets on, looking in the mirror, beating their chest? Yeah, I'm some daddy, baby. Oh, yeah, I might not have had a dad, but there's a God somewhere that looks low and lifts up high. He got me out of the ditch. Why? Because there's a marking of leadership on you. Whoa. I'm out of time, y'all. God shares his heart with us. He says, I tell my secrets to my prophets. I don't tell it to everybody. I tell it to my prophet. And he says, be not just hearers of the word, be doers also. Somebody might say, well, Pastor Karl, how do I help this? How do I help this? And I'm not. He says, tell him, cash out, cut in his image me. Yeah. I'll sign, cut in his image me. That name was given to me by my wife. Listen to it. Karl, you work at the barbershop.
That's right.
He said the name of cutting his image is me speaking to everybody who's sitting in the chair. Because all of us are made in his image. So then God had me to look at the first letters of the alphabet in the name. C-I-H-I-M. Cut in his image ministry. He says, Karl, I just want them to see him.
See him.
That's the purpose of the nonprofit. I just want the next generation to be able to see him. Now, I know some people say, man, I want you to leadership conference big. Well, let's just put it from God's perspective. He said, I just got a request from you, baby.
Well,
If you stop telling me what you don't have, all I'm asking for is your yes. That's right. I'm out of time, y'all.
They're already automatically, it's like, no. That's an automatic no. That's right. Because God tells me who the next speaker is. So it was in May, and I said, Lord, who is the next speaker? I was in prayer. I mean, I take it so seriously. That's right. And he said, Pastor Karl. I said, let me see what Pastor Karl doing. I went on social media. Social media, y'all really, beat y'all social media up. Because I went on there, and at that time, they were working on a special needs prom.
yes.
I was like, oh my God. A special needs prom. You got all these partnerships. You get the tuxedos. All the young ladies had their dresses. You had caterers. I mean, it was like top notch. I think it was different. They went to Europe. They went over here. They went to Spain. It was so bad. It was top notch. And when I called Pastor Karl, I said, Pastor Karl, I heard your name is in the wind. And you're supposed to be the speaker, but I told you your name was in the wind. And ever since then, I have seen you, everybody called me to come and speak. Everywhere I look, it's an award. Everywhere I look, I said, Pastor Karl was at the hotel there. Of course, everybody's here having everything. Throw that out there. Everybody's here. And I said, wow. And I wanted to present. See, I don't know if y'all paid attention to why I put impacting. Because you can impact, but are you impacting? Holy Spirit said to me, it's the ING of the thing. Hey, I prayed, but are you praying? Oh, I gave, but are you giving? So are you impacting your community? So I want to present the impacting of